Can you get lean without counting calories? Well, I'm about to find out. I'm sure you've seen nutrition debates all over YouTube where some people say you have to count your calories, count your macros, it's all about a calorie deficit, while others are saying you just need to eat single ingredient whole foods, don't worry about it, and eat intuitively. Both sides have some very valid points, and I want to take a deep dive into a 12-week experiment and kind of see how it plays out. My name's Rob and I'm an online coach, and I've been coaching for over 13 years, helping people get big, strong and in the best shape of their life. And over those 13 years, I've helped many people get in the best shape of their life via using a calorie deficit. And as well as other people, I've got myself into very good shape multiple times, going on holiday, competing in natural bodybuilding competitions, and just all around getting ready for summer. But as I've got older and responsibilities have grown, I've kind of lacked sometimes the discipline to keep up with the calorie tracking. And for me, I'm looking to kind of transition away from just calorie tracking using MyFitnessPal and see if I can start to eat more intuitively by adding some other restrictions within my daily discipline. So because every time I want to get in shape, I always revert back to using MyFitnessPal. I set myself my baseline, which is normally my body weight in pounds, and I times it by 14, and it gives me a good indication of roughly the calories I need to be starting at. And on average, I normally start a diet out with about 3,000 calories. But over the next 12 weeks, I'm going to make a change. I'm going to get rid of all these equations and just see what happens when I just eat to satiety. Now that can be a huge problem because I have a huge appetite. So we're going to see what happens over the next 12 weeks. So let's quickly zoom out and understand kind of where I'm coming from to know where I want to get to. Over the last year and a half, I've been making some big changes in my daily life through eating better quality foods, kind of sourcing like organic and more single ingredient foods, making sure I'm not getting any farmed crap, and just generally trying to eat a lot better. As part of that change, I've also completely negated alcohol. So I stopped drinking over 15 months ago now. It was December 2023, my last drink that I had. And since then, I've been no alcohol. What I did do, I had a little bit of a period where I was kind of bringing in 0% beers and kind of justifying having quite a lot of those per week, saying it's 0%, but I'm not a drinker. So drinking those 0% was kind of making me still a drinker. So they were kind of holding me, even though alcohol never held me in the first place. So I've cut those out for the time being because they just weren't serving me anymore. Even though I do love a 0% Corona, especially on a hot summer's day. So summer's around the corner, we'll see what happens in a couple of months' time. But for now, none of that. Now, over the past 18 months, I have been in a bit of a hormone optimization phase myself. I was trying to self-improve my testosterone levels because they've been chronically low for a long time. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to kind of do it naturally, so I have jumped on CRT. If you haven't checked out my 16-week update, you can click the link at the top of the screen. It'll take you to my most recent video there. I'm feeling really good. I'm now taking 200 milligrams per week, taking it every other day. So I'm microdosing it more throughout the week to kind of match my more natural hormonal productions. But as part of some of the blood panels I was getting back, I weren't too happy with some of my triglyceride levels, and I weren't too happy with my overall thyroid health. So there are a couple of areas where I've been looking to generally improve. So I've had a lot of focus on nutrition and kind of see where there are areas where I can improve beyond just tracking calories and kind of getting lean like that. So over the past 18 months, I've tried carnivore, I've tried keto, I've tried more animal-based, I've been fasting, which I've been doing for years and I'm a big fan of. And the main thing with these kind of approaches to nutrition and why I kind of lent into them is because I don't know why, I don't know what it is, but deep down, they just feel like what I'm supposed to be doing. There might be all the social media just in your face saying, you can't have sugar, you can't fucking do this and that. You need to be eating purely animal-based foods and stuff, which I'm a big advocate of. I love meat, I love red meat, and I love pretty much all animal-based products. So there's not an issue there, and that might be why I'm kind of gravitating towards that way of eating. But I do like my vegetables, I do like my fruit. So this kind of 12-week experiment, shall we say, is going to incorporate some of those things and kind of like strategically bring things in and kind of see how they affect me along the way. And I've also felt over the last 18 months where I've been kind of improving my diet and taking in a lot more natural whole foods. My stomach is now a lot more sensitive to whenever I say have a protein shake with, for instance, emulsifiers in, or if I have certain like other additives in, artificial sweeteners, I just end up with a really bad stomach ache and my stomach just does not like it. This is coming from someone who used to smash back about 6 white monsters a day like it's nothing, be having a white monster like, I'll be on my motorbike on the way into the city at like 5 a.m. I pull over to a petrol station to get a white monster and have my can while I'm still in the petrol station because I needed it. So I've been through that kind of fix of caffeine, sugar, like I've got to take a step back. And I think this is kind of like the start of systemizing all the things I've kind of been experimenting with over the last 18 months. So why now? As I said already, I know calories work. I know the calorie equation, essentially putting you in a form of deficit, doing your thing, it works. You get in some seriously good shape. As I said, I've done it with many, many clients and I've done it with myself. But I feel there must be more to this because there are so many people that don't track calories that are in great shape. Now, one of the reasons I love tracking calories is because I'm a very data-driven person. So I like seeing numbers. I like understanding an equation, essentially. Part of the reason why I called my company the Strength Formula is because I love equations. I like having things where I know if I put someone through this systematic approach to their training, they're gonna get strong as fuck. And then when I give them a certain amount of calories, I know I can get them in the best shape of their life. But for myself, the changes I want to make are beyond a 12-week transformation. I'm trying to create long-term lasting habits where I wouldn't necessarily want to be running clients through this when I don't know if it fully works. I only do things that I know work with clients. So now this is my opportunity to see if all the experiments I've been doing on myself over the last 18 months, I put them into a system and I'm going to see if this system works. I'm going to bring you along for the journey. So this time around, rather than focusing on the numbers, I'm going to be focused on the quality and the structure of my meals and making sure I'm giving myself the best opportunity to essentially kind of rewire my brain's thought process towards food, because the big part of nutrition to me is, one, I'm extremely passionate about this stuff, but two, because I have such an issue with food, I'm constantly thinking about it. From what I've heard about when people take like Ozempic and these fat jabs, that it gets rid of the food noise. That noise is continually in my head and I'm trying to overcome that. I don't want to necessarily go down that route. I don't feel I need to go down that route because I feel I have the self-discipline and the ability to kind of get to my end result without having to necessarily take something like that. So I want to take all the knowledge that I've kind of gained and accrued over all these years of working with others and on myself, and then put it all essentially into a system and have a systemized approach to not only my training, but proactive nutrition and intentional lifestyle habits to give me the physique and my clients the physique that they want. So let's get into the good stuff. How is this all going to work? This initial experiment is going to be a 12-week block broken up into 3 4-week blocks. Now in this video, we're just going to focus on block 1. So let's dive into the first block and let's talk about nutrition. This first 4 weeks is all about setting the standard, but all about being proactive with our nutrition. There's going to be a couple of principles that I'm following over these first 4 weeks, but nothing too crazy. First principle is every day I will be doing a form of fasting. Now, I've already been doing a form of intermittent fasting for many, many years, so that's not really anything too dramatic of a change. But what it is going to be, it's going to be a little bit more of a structured fast. Now, every day I'm going to be doing at least a minimum of an 18-hour fast. And what that generally looks like for me is probably having my first meal about 11 o'clock and my last meal about 5 o'clock. Now, my days are a little bit shorter and I start a lot earlier. So I wake up at 4:30 every single morning and I go to bed about 8:30 every single night. So I don't really want to be eating within 3 hours of bedtime. So generally 5 p.m. is a really nice cutoff time for me to get my last meal in. Now, I say 18 hours-ish because I might push it a little bit more. I might take it up to say 19, 20 hours, or I might even take it to a full 24 hours and only have one meal that day. But my key thing is that every day I'm fasting for at least 18 hours. Now, as part of that fast, I will obviously be drinking plenty of water, getting my electrolytes. I make sure in my water, I put some Celtic sea salt in there because you get a bunch of extra minerals in it. I put myself some baking soda as well. I use just Arm & Hammer baking soda. And then I also use some low salt. Now I use low salt because it's potassium based rather than sodium based, which you get from normal salt. And if I'm feeling really spicy, I'll have a squirt of lemon juice in there as well, just to kind of give it a little bit of flavor. But generally I stopped buying the pre-made electrolytes because it's so much cheaper to just make it yourself, and then you can flavor it however you like with your own natural flavorings rather than natural flavorings. Now, the food choices themselves. So we're mainly following a carnivore/keto approach to our nutrition. So that will include things like meat, eggs, seafood, some vegetables, ones that we say have, some fruit, some dairy, avocado, which kind of falls in fruit obviously, but it's also fats, and some nuts. Main reason for the nuts is just really like 2 Brazil nuts, which I have every day. It's kind of helping my overall thyroid health to bump up my selenium levels. But the big thing about this 4-week block is no added sugar, no refined carbs, and no starchy carbs either. And of course, no ultra processed foods. I'm trying to really heal myself from the inside, help my gut, and get myself feeling good again. Now let's get into training. So with training, it is going to be lifting 3 times a week, an anterior strength day, which is focusing on my squats and my bench. I've got a posterior strength day where I'm focusing on my deadlifts and weighted pull-ups. And then I've got a full body strength day where I'm focusing on a squat accessory, a bench press accessory, a heavy hinge, and then an upper body pump. Now, outside of those 3 strength sessions, I've got 2 aerobic sessions. One easy run, which I'm gradually building up my capacity to about a 5 or 10K. I'm currently at 5K. And a interval bike session where I'll be focusing on some threshold work or some high intensity like 10 interval sessions. Now, as I'm 19 weeks out from my national powerlifting competition, it's enough time for me to give this a solid go with this 12-week experiment. And I've got enough time afterwards in case shit doesn't go as right as it should do, which it should do, and I don't see why not. But what most people will be coming at me with is, well, you've got no carbs in your diet. How are you going to be able to kind of stay energized or keep yourself having a pump in the gym? Firstly, I'm accustomed to kind of training fasted, so I'm pretty comfortable training empty. And as long as I get my electrolytes in my drink and I am getting my fruits, I should be able to still get a good solid pump. I haven't had an issue yet so far, but who knows, I will keep you guys updated if I'm essentially a bag of shit and I cannot train. So while I become fat adapted, this is the perfect opportunity to kind of keep the intensity relatively low on my strength training, just looking for like heavy triples and doubles and some singles, keeping the easy running in, and then the bike sessions are relatively short anyway, so they're not too stressful and an opportunity for me to kind of burn some extra body fat. Now, obviously, everything you do in and out of the gym is all part of your overall transformation. So your intentional lifestyle habits is where it can really make or break whether you can kind of keep up with your approach to your training and your nutrition, or if it ends up kind of falling by the wayside. I have 5 areas that I'm kind of focusing on within the intentional lifestyle habits where I'm already currently doing a bunch of them. So it's just kind of, as I said, systemizing and kind of being a bit more intentional about those habits. First one is making sure I hit that minimum of 10,000 steps a day. So that just for me means I just need to be very conscious and intentional about my step count. Because if I'm not, and I'm by the computer doing coaching or I'm with clients, I'm not doing that many steps. So I have to be a little bit more intentional with that action. So I just make sure I look at my watch, see where I'm at for the day. I'm at 10.9K, so I've hit today's target and I've still got quite a bit of the day left, so happy days. But as long as I kind of keep on track with my watch, see where I'm at, things should be sweet there. Second point is a daily cold plunge. So I've got a cold tub, I've got a chiller that keeps the water at 3 degrees Celsius, and it's my daily accountability of basically doing something I don't want to do. When I originally had my cold tub, I kind of followed the science and said, 3 to 4 times a week is fine, doing for about 2 to 3 minutes. It's all good. You kind of want to accumulate about 11 to 12 minutes over the week. What I found with that, I had too many excuses to not do it because I didn't want to get in the water, so I push it off to the next day. Now I've cut all the bullshit excuses and now I just get in. And my big driver is if I want to eat, I have to do the tub before I eat, because I don't want to do the tub after I eat because it's fucking cold in there. And the last thing I want when I'm trying to digest food is getting freezing. So I make sure I do the tub before I get down to my meal. That could be my first meal of the day or it could be the last meal of the day. I just make sure I get it done. Now, third point is, since I'm not tracking my calories, I will still be tracking my daily weight and also be tracking my daily waist measurements, because at the end of the day, I do still need to track something and I need to understand if I need to eat a little less or I need to eat a little more, because if the measurements aren't moving, I need to make a change. So I need to have some data points, and getting myself on the scale every single morning is a piece of piss. I can do it without even thinking about it. The weight then gets uploaded to the app. It's all sorted. There's no excuses there. Step 4 is I make sure I implement my sleep formula of 3-2-1, which is 3 hours before bed, I stop eating altogether. 2 hours before bed, I'm stopping drinking altogether because I don't want to be up all night going to the toilet. And 1 hour before bed, no more screens. And then this kind of ties into point number 5, which is in that last hour to 2, I try to transition the lights to either dimming, or I stick on a couple of the red light bulbs that I have installed around the house. The family aren't too happy about that. Or if that's too much of an ag, I'll just throw on my blue light blocking glasses, those cool orange glasses, and kind of wear those and kind of help let my body kind of look, as when I put on those glasses, it's kind of telling my body, right, it's time to get ready for bed, start to unwind, start to chill out and get yourself set, ready for a good night's sleep. Obviously, as part of nutrition, we're going to have to include supplements. Now, obviously, I'm going to be still keeping up with my TRT protocol. So that's at 200 milligrams every single week, taking 50 milligrams 4 times a week. So every other day to kind of help match my normal hormone levels. And then on top of that, making sure I take all my other health supplements, things like my zinc, magnesium, CoQ10, B vitamin, ashwagandha, thyroid support, liver support, and a bunch of other little supplements. But if you want to deeper dive into that, you can kind of check out my 16-week TRT video and kind of break down exactly my supplement protocol that I'm going through there. So now we need a baseline. We need to know, where am I at now? So I'm currently weighing in 106.3 kilos. So that's 233 pounds. I have a 98 centimeter waist and I'm about 20 to 22% body fat according to some online calculations. Now, I'm not really that happy with my physique and I've got plenty of room to kind of improve, but I'm happy enough to kind of give this experiment a try for 12 weeks and kind of see what happens, as the experiment itself is a system that I believe is going to work well. And I believe it's a system that is going to be sustainable for the long run, rather than just me counting calories and kind of getting myself in the best shape possible in 12 weeks and then kind of not knowing really what to do from there, apart from either continuing to track or kind of revert back to a form of good eating habits. I might as well just start with these good eating habits now, make a couple of restrictions at the start and kind of see how I manage that over the next couple of weeks and kind of make the tweaks necessary to kind of give me the physique that I want at the end of the 12 weeks. But to be honest with you, it's an experiment. I have no idea. I could be making an absolute error here and proper fucking up. So we'll see. But as I said, after the 12 weeks, I still have 6 weeks till my national powerlifting competition. And then I still have 12 weeks to my next half Ironman. So I've got enough time to kind of make the necessary changes if I need to. But to be honest with you, I feel really confident about this experiment and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be in a good place in 12 weeks time. Scrap that, not pretty sure. I know I'm going to be in a good place in 12 weeks time. So what can you expect over these next 12 weeks? Hopefully 12 weekly uploads. That's my goal. I've wrote it down in my journal and saying, right, part of my actions is 1 video a week. So this is video number 1 in this 12-week series. I want to include some full day of training, some full day of eating. Obviously the weekly updates every 4 weeks as I enter a new block, kind of saying how things have been, how things are going and kind of where I see it kind of trending to. I want to take deeper dives into my nutrition approach and kind of how I'm structuring my days themselves so you guys can actually take away some of the points and implement these systems into your own lives and then hopefully get the results I'm achieving along this journey as well. But I'd love to hear what you think about maybe some of the stuff I've been discussing so far in today's video. So if you do have any comments, any questions, do drop it in the comments down below. I do read all my comments and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So in summary, can you get lean without counting calories? I sure fucking hope so. I want to get big, strong, and in the best shape of my life in 12 weeks time, all without being stuck to my phone, counting every single gram of carbs and protein that I'm taking in. Join me for what could essentially be an absolute massive fuck up and a shit show of an experiment, or it could be the life-changing experiment that I'm hoping it will be. So thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in next week's video.